Hello again, this is Diane Bleak. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to cover a book that I just finished. It was a definite labor of love. It's called A Book in a Tin from my point of view, but I got the idea by taking a class called The Bookmaker by Roxanne Evans Stout. And you can find her and this class on jeanoliver.com. I'll leave you the information in the description below. But I wanted you to see what I created. And again, this was definitely a labor of love. And what it is it's an old tin box that a friend of mine named Jan, I hope you're watching, Jan. Thank you for the tin. But she gave me this beautiful tin. It's got all kinds of beautiful patina and, I don't know, it just looks old and cool. Anyway, so what I did, it was just a plain tin. And then in this class, Roxanne teaches us how to just embellish the tin, to create a book to go inside, and to make some little scrolls and things. And so this is my rendition of her book, The Bookmaker. Now on this tin, you can see that there's this little piece of lace here. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see here because it's black on black almost. But it's got some little beads and things. Let me see. Anyway, it's got a rusted buckle. And I thought it was a good contrast to have this rust against something pretty and new and fancy. So we got the old and the fancy, they go together. Now mine slips off. I put it on here in case I ever wanted to add a lot of stuff and I wanted to keep the box closed. But it does have a hinge and it does close on its own. So we'll take this off. And I can show you in detail a little more. There we go. Okay, so this is the tin itself. And these are just bits and bobs that I found. There's this piece of wire found from a construction site. Most of this is a piece of the bottom of a tin can that's been rusted. This is some kind of a washer. Inside down here, you can see there's another piece of metal that was sort of had a divot in it. So it made a nice little place, or like a little window to put something in. And there's a bead inside of a bead. And I do like collecting beads, especially pretty ones. And so this is my tin. See what I mean? Doesn't it have some beautiful patina? Let me see if I can get a more light on there. There we go. I didn't do anything to the back. She did, but I kind of like this the way it is. It just speaks to me to just have its own personality speaking out. So we're going to open this tin. There we go. So in this box you will find, oh no, my thing's coming loose. Hold on. There he goes. You'll find 2 scrolls, a little book that I put in a pill box, and then this is the bigger book. And so why don't we start with the biggest thing first. So we're going to pull this out. Inside the box, I've lined that with some batting that has been rusted, and I really like the way that turned out. I'm having a hard time breaking up the pieces because I just love the main piece so much, but I have to use this stuff. So anyway, I'll put that out of the way for the moment, and we'll look at the little book that goes inside. Now, a couple of things happened with this. It's made with canvas. The outside, what I've done is put signatures in, and I've stitched them in with a pamphlet stitch. And then I've inserted some sari silk, S-A-R-I, silk, and used that to close this. Now originally I wasn't going to do that. I had this nice button, and it was really, 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 really shiny. Let me see if I can find the other one. I have a tin of goodies here, but the original, you can see, was very, very shiny. And what I used was some Art Basics clear or transparent gesso. Just a little dab on there. And what that did was it toned down the shininess, because I didn't think the shininess really went with this book. So as you can see, sometimes you have to get creative even though some of your stuff isn't exactly what you want it to be. Anyway, when I first created this, you can see that I had a buttonhole here, and what I originally had was this on this side, and this was going through the buttonhole. I didn't really like the way that turned out. I kind of liked the wrapping. I thought it was a prettier effect. So that's the way I went. So I closed up the buttonhole with this mustard colored embroidery thread. And then I put the button on here so I can just wrap around that button. I also did some stitching on here. And then when we open this up, again, some more rusted stuff. In this case, this is tea bags that I rusted. There's several of them. Sometime I will do a video that shows some of my other rusted tea bags because they're just so pretty. Anyway, so the first page I open up. Now I definitely have a style. Some people might consider it kind of technical or structured or masculine, but you know, I use lace and I do things that I think, you know, there's little flowers and things in here, and that's actually a flower, a piece of cloth, but it does have a very structured look to it. That's who I am, and that's my style. All right, so this one is the first one. I kind of just wanted to not decorate the pages in between because I like the tea bag so much. So I left that. And this is the middle page, middle signature. And got some beads and some buttons and some more beads on buttons, some more stitching. This is actually a little sticker. And this is some pretty cloth that I had. It frays really easily, so I had to definitely go over that with a little bit of glue to keep it down so it doesn't come flying off. And then we get to the next signature. Isn't that just pretty? Or as Caterina Giglio is always saying, it's yummy. Anyway, so then this is the third signature. And this is piece of cloth actually comes up because I wanted to be able to see that whole rusted bit. I forget what that was. It was some kind of wire that was in a loop, and so that gave us all this nice staining that went out in different directions. Again, some lace, a button, some more little pieces of cloth. I love to collage. This is sewn on, and so I did all the sewing on this piece of cloth before I put it down, so that way I could do stitches and it didn't have to come through the paper, so everything stayed within its own space. And some more of that nice rusting. Okay, so now I'm going to close this up. And that's going to stay where it is. I'm going to put it back in its box. Okay, so now we've got a pill box. This pill box is 1 inch by 2 inches. And I've got some little bits of rusted wire. It's on top of a little washer and with a little piece of rusted wire. And the wire actually pokes into this little bead that looks like a flower. I don't know if I can get that to show up the way that helps you to see it. My lighting's not the best. I try. I've got 4 lights on this right now. But anyway, so, and then there's another little rusted bit that I found on the road and then added a little bead inside of that. And then I stained this thing. This was just pure silver looking. It was just a little tin box. Not tin, but metal box. It was silver colored. And so I used alcohol inks and dripped that on and then dabbed it to give it kind of that mottled look. And then I had some dimensional paint that I used to make the little frame over the top of that. Now I've got this in here with Velcro. I'm not sure how sturdy that's going to be because that is also on top of some more batting, and batting is kind of loose. So I'm just going to open it by pushing on the two little mechanisms there. And inside this book, I've added some book page, and that I stained with some alcohol ink, and that came out pretty neat. Let's look at the little book that's inside. I love stamps. They're just little pieces of miniature art. Let me see if I can get this. There we go. And so all this is some little signatures I made. This is pillowcase cloth. You can get pillowcase cloth pretty cheap at the thrift store and get a lot of it, and that goes a long ways towards all those little background things that you want. Anyway, so it's got some old postage stamps that I've had for a long time, or people have gifted to me. And so I just made this book with just stamps. This one was kind of cool. A friend of mine, Jan, gave me, it's the same lady that gave me the tin. She also gave me these stamps, and they're pretty cool because they actually have handwriting on them. And that's, what does it say? 1866 on it. So. And the stamps are all from different countries. A lot of Dutch and German and Mexico and all kinds of places, even some from the United States. And so what I did of all of these, the cloth, I'd used pinking shears to get that little stampy look, so it looks like, goes with the whole idea of having stamps. And then for any stamps that were kind of white, I used some distress ink to give them an age look, so they all went together. I'll put that back in here. Okay, so now one of the things that Roxanne wanted us to do is to make some scrolls. Now look what I did here. I didn't have the heart to go back and put holes in here and mess up what I had on the front. So since there was batting here, I took those little, I call them little light bulb pins, and you can get those from Tim Holtz, and there's probably other places you can get them, but I like the fact that they had this little round bit going there. Let me see, I'm not in the shot here, hold on. I'm showing you something, talking about it, and it's not in the shot. There we go. Okay, so it's got these little pins that I threaded through there, and now, because it's round, it holds, I've got these little beads on the end, and those little beads go through the roundness, and then they hook on. So that's pretty cool. All right, so these are scrolls, which are collages on cloth. So I'm going to unwrap these. These are wrapped just like that bigger book is. And this is my bigger collage on this scroll. There we go. And again, this was a very, very pretty, bright copper heart. And I used some gesso to tone that down. And these are this is a really old little button. And these are some beads. This is some cheesecloth. And we've got some more of that rusted batting. And just little collage of cloth. Put that one to that side. I'm going to take this one off. Easier said than done sometimes. There we go. Come on, let go. There we go. And this is my second one. And I use the same fabrics, but just a slightly different collage, and the collage is a slightly different size. So, this is my Bookmaker book. Easy to just wrap and go and stick it back in the box. I'm not going to fuss with it too much. I'm just going to do that right there. Wrap this one. Whoops. Wrap it a couple of times. Come back around. Ah, there we go. And tie. Sometimes it's a bit fiddly, but and then that goes in there, and that all gets closed up. Whoops. And there you are. This is my Bookmaker book, and it's book in a box, tin box, and I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I would suggest that you go to jeanoliver.com and look up Roxanne Evans Stout and check out her Bookmaker class. And I think this should spark some inspirational juices, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.